Don Bluski, joined with Rob Krohn, J.F. Houle, the coach of Clarkson men's hockey, and Brent Brecky, the coach of SLU's hockey team. We're here to talk about the Route 11 rivalry today. Rob, big weekend, and let's get started.
Always a big weekend. Let's talk to the two coaches before they get down to business here. First, we're going to talk with you, Brent. Talk a little bit about what this rivalry means to you.
It's big for a lot of different reasons, not just our team and our staff, but obviously with the alumni, the people of the North Country. It's one of those days on the calendar. It's almost like a holiday. They've got it marked every single year, and it's just special. The people that have been through it and been a part of it, whether they were a student or growing up in the area, it means a lot to the North Country people, and it's a big thing in the area. So it's an exciting time.
How about being at home tonight? The atmosphere here, it's almost going to be playoff caliber.
Yeah, I know we're fortunate that we draw well. This rivalry is obviously huge. It'll be jammed to the rafters tonight, but it's fun, and our guys are all excited to get out there and play in front of a pretty ruckus crowd.
JF, let's talk to you. You were in this rivalry as both a player and a assistant coach. Now you're the head coach. Talk a little bit about the difference.
Yeah, it's for sure different. We probably a lot more pressure as a head coach, but we're very excited to be here. It's always a great rivalry. I haven't been in it as a player. It's a very, very exciting time for the community, and it's great for the players to be here.
Now, it's kind of interesting. When you walked in here, you said this is the first time you've been in here in a while. A lot of changes since you last.
Yeah, a lot of changes. It's a great building, great atmosphere in here. They have good fans that follow them, and it's great, and really super excited to be part of it here tonight.
What does the rivalry mean to you?
You want to win the game. You want to win the game. There's a lot of pressure on both teams, and the community takes sides, and it's fun. It's fun to see.
One of the students I talked with today said that it's like the North Country's Army Navy or Ohio State Michigan. I mean, do you feel that level of rivalry competition between these two teams?
Yeah, absolutely. In college hockey, we're probably the closest two teams in the whole country, which makes it even more exciting. Great fans all over the North Country, and for sure, it's just like those big rivalries that you see in the football.
How do you feel about that? I mean, do you feel it kind of matches up to that atmosphere?
Oh, there's no doubt. The proximity is a big piece of it. I mean, there's some great matchups in college sports, but just because being 9 miles away down the road from one another is a huge element to it. And it's the pride of the North Country. And when you come from two small communities, it is the exciting thing in town for the hockey for both programs. And so that means a lot to everybody. And but the alumni, the players, everybody involved in the administration, it's a big night for everybody.
Now, I'm not going to give away any secrets or anything, but I'm going to ask both you guys, what's going to be the key in order to come away with a win tonight?
Score more goals than the other team. In simple terms. No, I mean, it's discipline for us within our systems and discipline within the physicality. And, that's something I think is going to be an important piece. And there's not going to be any easy ice. Both teams play hard. So things happen fast in this building. It's just staying focused and really kind of not letting, when you have momentum, don't let it get away. And at some point it is going and you got to get it back. So those are key elements for ourselves.
JF, I was looking at the statistics. You guys are 8-1 on the road this year. What's been the key to the success on the road this year for you guys?
I would just keep it simple on the road. We have good team bonding right now, and we just go out and play with a free space in your head and just play hockey and have fun. And a game like tonight for us, control your emotions. It's loud. There's a lot of fans, and if you control your emotions and try to give the best possible outcome for our alumni and our fans.
When you took the job over, was this one of the games you had circled on your calendar, or one of the weekends?
Yeah, absolutely. It always is. It's a big weekend for the players, the coaches, administration, everybody. So it's always fun to be part of this.
You talk about the emotions, controlling the emotions for the game. Is that a positive or a negative, or a little bit of both for a game like this, where you're excited for it, but then you have to kind of pull it back or play within yourself and not get too ahead of yourself when you're excited for it?
Yeah, you have to pull it back a little bit. The emotions get really high before the game, and you could feel it I've been part of it as a player. You could feel in the warm up, you could feel how the tension is building and stuff like that. So you have to make sure that players come in and they remain calm for the start of the game.
One more question for you, Brent, before we let you guys go. A big stretch coming up for both teams. We're kind of getting into the stretch run. What's going to be the key for you guys to have success here in the last month or so of the season?
Well, it's always got to start from the defensive end. I mean, if you defend well, you get your hands on the puck sooner and you play with the puck. I mean, that's going to be a big piece of it. So, and puck possession game once you get it and generate more offense. But it's got to start from the defensive end and be sound and stay in good position defensively away from the puck.
Now, how about you, JF? What do you feel the key is going to be for you guys to have success down the stretch here before the ECAC playoffs start?
Yeah, just consistency. And for us, we've had some good Fridays, but not so good Saturdays. So it's important to get some consistency, to put some wins together in a row, and obviously playing, like Brexy said, playing good defense is key to a long run if you want to go far.
Well, we appreciate both you guys joining us. We're going to let you get to work, and good luck to both of you tonight. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Rob.
Thank you very much, JF.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take care. All right. That is Clarkson coach JF Fool and St. Lawrence coach Brent Brecky. Good luck to both those guys tonight. And, they talked about it. This is a unique rivalry. You talk about the Army Navies. You talk about on the college basketball courts, Syracuse, Georgetown, Yeah. And you talked to some of the fans today too, as well. And what was their perspective?
I mean, that's where the Army Navy, Ohio State, Michigan comparison came up as one of the fans that I spoke with, who's actually from Alexandria Bay, and has kind of grown up with this rivalry. And I think that's an excitement that kids feel on campus. The students look forward to this all year, they said, and obviously the community does too. I mean, they were telling me a lot of the kids I spoke with are in some level involved in the school and have some inside knowledge on like what goes into the game. They're saying, people are booking their tickets in September for this weekend. I mean, it sells out fast. Both games here tonight and at Shield tomorrow, both sold out. So, it's going to be great crowds.
And there's a lot of history behind this rivalry series, the Route 11 rivalry. This will be the 222nd time between these two schools meeting on the ice. First one was February 13, 1926, Ives Park in Potsdam. Clarkson won that game 1-0. Interesting side note there, it was the first varsity game for St. Lawrence University. Now, Clarkson leads the series 133-76-12. St. Lawrence won the last meeting 2-1. And in 1950, both schools, founding members of the Tri-State League, which was the NCAA's first official conference for ice hockey, and they were there until 1961 when they both moved to the ECAC. And this has been one of the biggest ECAC rivalries that you can ask for.
And to speak to that rivalry, not just between the players, but the fans too. I talked to the president of the pep band for Clarkson, and obviously if you've been to a Clarkson game, you've seen them there. They've got some great chants and stuff. It's a lot of energy in the crowd.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, they bring that here when they go on the road too, and they were talking about, the crowd will kind of chirp at them, and they've got some chants that they're ready to, throw right back at the crowd. So there's some back and forth, and it's really a fun time for everybody.
And it's friendly as well. Yeah,
that's what they say.
Yeah,
try to keep it that way
until the puck drops. Yeah, and this series was once part of the North Country Thanksgiving Festival that took place from 1970 to 1982, which is kind of interesting, something that I didn't know. The series was halted in 1931 because of the Great Depression. They got one game in 1941 and World War II hit. Mm-hmm. So they took another break until 1943, and these two teams have been playing ever since, even through COVID-19. So, it's been a great rivalry, been a great series, and there's been a lot of changes, especially to the rinks. The Walker Arena, they played, Clarkson did, for several years there until they moved into Cheel Arena. And there's been a lot of updates here to Appleton Arena as well, which you heard from JF Wool, who said, as an assistant coach and as a player, things have changed a lot here since, he was last year as an assistant coach quite a few years ago.
And it's a beautiful arena when you're standing in here, the glossy wood of the seating and all that, the bleachers, it's really cool. And, there's history when you look at these buildings, and then there's history when you look at the matchups they've had. And then it's mixed in with, American history as you talk about, these things that may have interrupted it or not interrupted it, like COVID. So, it's funny how sports ties in with, real world events like that. And you can kind of look back on how those things affect them. And I'm sure, a lot of folks that are here remember, how a lot of that played out. It's really a storied rivalry, and it's awesome to be a part of.
And you want to talk about history? I got my notes here. Right. St. Lawrence leads in tournament champion wins with 7. Clarkson has won 6 of them. The two teams played in the first ever ECAC championship, with St. Lawrence beating Clarkson 5-2. And 4 times St. Lawrence and Clarkson have met in the ECAC tournament championship game. So, it's been a great rivalry. It continues to be a great rivalry. You look in the rafters, you look at some of the players who have played in this rivalry who have gone on to have successful NHL careers, some of the coaches who have gone on to have successful NHL careers, this is a pretty big deal for the North Country.
And you know what? The tailgate's already started out in the parking
Yeah,
lot.
we saw that
There's
when we pulled
some
in.
players throwing
Yeah.
football around,
Yep.
cooking some, I don't know, I assume burgers and hot dogs and whatever else they're
and
feeling
having some
tonight.
soda.
I'm sure they're having some beverages.
Yes.
So it's a good atmosphere and something to really enjoy. I went to the game at Shield last year and had a great time. I mean, it's fun to watch.
And we're talking about the men. Let's not forget the women, because the women are playing at 6:00 at Shield Arena, St. Lawrence and Clarkson. That is a battle of two top 10 teams in the country. Both St. Lawrence and Clarkson women having outstanding seasons. Clarkson, of course, coming off of last year's campaign, which saw them make it to the NCAA Final Four after beating Minnesota in 4 overtimes at Shield Arena in the quarterfinals. So, that should be a good game as well.
You want to talk about the history that these teams have. I mean, those are some, very, very good teams historically between both schools, women's teams, really, really successful.
Yeah, and talking about the women, the Clarkson women, they have won 4 NCAA championships, and I believe they are the only women's college hockey team east of the Mississippi to win a national championship. All those other teams have been west of the
How about
Mississippi.
that?
So
That's an
yeah,
interesting one. Yeah. Any speculation onto why that is? Why it's all West Coast teams?
I don't know, but I think it's going to be changing now with the way the NIL is and the transfer portal, which is something, if we had more time, we could have got into with the coaches as well, because, that affects a lot of the rosters as well, because now, players, there's more money involved, and players after a year can transfer to another school and just play immediately. So that has changed the landscape of not only the ECAC, but this rivalry as well.
Yeah, and that's at the forefront when you look at sport, major sports with a lot of money in them, like football. But don't forget about how that affects college sports at every level.
Right, and smaller schools as well, like
Yeah.
Clarkson and St. Lawrence, competing with the big boys, because you look at some of the teams they play. They play the Penn States, they play the Ohio States, they play the Minnesota. So and they've done an outstanding job in keeping up with those programs. Chris Wells, the St. Lawrence women's hockey coach, just won his 300th game a couple of weekends ago, and he's got that program on a roll. They made it to the NCAA tournament last year, won a game, and things are looking up for the St. Lawrence women. They can make a run in the NCAA tournament this year. But the key is, Garrett, the ECAC, as far as the women go, it is stacked.
Yeah.
I think there's 5 or 6 teams in the top 15 in the country. So you want to talk
It's a
about
gauntlet to go through.
it. Definitely is. And that's what, when I talked to Chris Wells earlier today, he said that exact word. It's a gauntlet. Tonight, it depends on who gets off to a fast start, depends on who has penalties early on and stuff like that. That's going to dictate the way this game goes here on this ice.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to put your Lee Corso hat on and make any predictions for us tonight?
No, I am not. I'm going to stay neutral in this one. I'll tell you what, it's going to be an outstanding game. It's going to be a packed house. The atmosphere is going to be phenomenal, and you better get here early if you want a good parking spot, because it is going to be jam-packed here at Appleton Arena tonight. And, speaking, you said you looked around here and, you saw the wooden seats and all. Ashley Siebold, who does a lot of digital work for us and all, she mentioned to me that this kind of reminds her of an Olympic venue,
I can see it,
kind of
yeah.
an old style and all. And that's the thing. When they remodeled Appleton Arena, they kept the nostalgic charm of that with the wooden seats and all. So, you get the new and you get the old here.
How about that?
And
And
you're
if
going to get a good game.
a good game, and if you're worried about parking, there's 2 good spots that are going to open up right at the front around 6:45 when we leave.
Yes, absolutely.
So don't fight over them.
You might want to get those. So I think that's going to do it for us here.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. We're all getting ready for the Route 11 rivalry. We're here at Appleton Arena in Canton, and puck drops in 1 hour and 15 minutes for the women and 2 hours, 15 minutes for the men.
Yeah, and join us on First at 5 and at 7 News at 6. We're going to have reports from here as well.
All right.